Hey Scorpios, welcome back to Deku Tarot. It is so good to be back. So we're here at September 2020, the last quarter of the year here, and astrology is about to kick it up a notch. I'm sure you guys have heard. I would like to say thank you to Leo season for giving us the necessary break and kind of easier energy, to take it a little bit more easy, to breathe for a second, I think, even though I would say it's still just as crazy, especially just the whole world is pretty crazy right now. I think that we can all agree there. Get used to it because this last part of the year is going to be a lot. So astrologically, we started it off with that Pisces full moon, and being in a fellow water sign kind of energy with all of that brought up a lot of emotions and maintaining order and structure, even kind of within our emotions in that Virgo Pisces line there. So we're identifying and addressing our spiritual and emotional needs, but still trying to maintain order in the everyday life. And we're going to see that right up until the 17th when we hit that new moon in Virgo. Now, something interesting I want to talk about here is that at the end of the month, we have Mercury moving into your sign. Mercury is also entering Libra there in the beginning of the month, even though it feels like when was it in Virgo? I don't know. It was so quick. I don't even know when it happened. It was I know it was a few weeks, but wow, that felt quick, right? Mercury is going to be in Libra in your 12th house for most of the month. And at the end of the month, when it moves into into Scorpio there, it's going to allow you to speak, I think, on a lot of things that, ooh, and there's a wasp. Sorry, just making sure it's not going to come at me. I've had a lot of just awful wasp problems lately. End of the summer, tensions are high, humidity is high, everything is just a lot. And it feels kind of like that pressure cooker feeling as we enter September. Things are going to start getting over their boiling point, and especially you and your emotions and how you're feeling. With Mercury being in your 12th house all month, you're going to be really going through a deeper set of emotions and awareness of emotions, and how do I communicate that? It's going to feel very, what is correct to communicate right now versus what is not. What is putting my best foot forward? What is diplomatic? What's going to be the just and right thing to do here in that Libran way? What's going to keep everything equal and balanced? And then at the end of the month, you'll finally be able to speak and say very clearly how you're feeling, what you need, and you're going to be very sure of it because you've spent this time, ruminating in the 12th house with Mercury here. And I just feel for you guys, there might be a lot of frustration this month over an inability to make things go the way you want them to. And I want to say that's not just you. We have Mars retrograding in Aries starting this month here, actually on September 9th, and that's going to be a really big deal. It's going to have us, reassess where we're at with current projects and goals, and, but it's also really going to force us to slow our roll and have a lot less energy to throw at these things, for us to really drive towards these goals, drive towards this work. It's really turning this pressure inward on yourself here and reassessing how we approach to how we get what we want and the nature of our desires themselves, what has changed. And I think a lot of even that kind of line of thinking has a lot to do with the fact that we have Jupiter turning direct in Capricorn. And I think that Saturn also turns direct in Capricorn. Forgive me, it's either later this month or early next month, not 100% sure. Somebody correct me in the comments on the astrology there. But Jupiter is turning direct, and it has been retrograde in Capricorn. And we've talked a lot of length about that over the past few months. I've mentioned it in several videos, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but it really has us looking at, the structure. I mean, before before Jupiter moves into Aquarius, and we have, Saturn moving into Aquarius, they're both have been retrograding through Capricorn, which is all about what, is the sign of government, is the sign of traditions, business. And with both of these, you know, very governmental, very structural business, careers, goals, you know, how do we keep things in check and in order without all the emotional stuff? You know, what is the basic traditional structures? How do we keep that all in line? And is it even working? And all those things have been tested, have been questioned. And I think a lot of that, I mean, on top of Uranus being in Taurus, that just adds a whole nother spice into the mix of just, we're seeing all these governmental changes and shifts, and we're looking at things in new lights. Like, wow, I see this now. Is this really what I believe? Are these really my beliefs now? Is this really who I am? Is this who I want to be associated with moving forward? Or am I ready to change? Are we ready to work out the kinks of this system that now are very obviously, you know, upfront in our faces about what's wrong? You know, this isn't working, or this is very obviously messed up, or this is very obviously corrupt. And I'm talking in a bigger sense just to be able to hone in on the point. But these have to do with our own relationships with work, with money, with our own goals, where we want to live, how we run our business, our goals in everyday life. How are we getting to how are we getting what we want? And again, with Jupiter also govern, you know, being the luck planet that governs prosperity and optimisms and belief systems. Why can't I speak? It's very expansive now to be like, okay, now these, as it turns direct, we're now solidifying, understanding, and redirecting our goals, our beliefs, and moving them in a better, I feel like, more optimistic direction. So if things do feel difficult for quite a bit of this month, know that at least we have Jupiter turning direct in Capricorn, and that's going to give us a bit of space here, at least for you guys especially, to let something really big go. And I think it's going to take you quite a while this month to talk about this. And I don't want to push too hard on this before all the cards come out, so I think we might switch over to the cards now. But I hope you've enjoyed a little change up of background. I wanted to kind of get outside, and I felt like for you guys, just the feeling of sweating it out this month. It's like you're kind of sweating out a fever. There's a lot inside you that is coming up to the surface, and you have to just kind of let it go. And by the time Mercury moves into your sign at the end of the month, things are going to feel a lot better. You're going to feel a lot better speaking your truth, saying what you need to say, because before that, it's going to feel very diplomatic, halting, and maybe not even 100% you. It's going to feel like, I'm not really sure where this stands. I've got to work through this. I really have to see it from this position. I might be saying it this way, but are these my real beliefs? I'm just not so sure. I'm just trying to keep the peace right now, keep it diplomatic. So Scorpios, let's move on to your cards now. Love you so much. So Scorpios, we're using the Usi Pagan Other Worlds Tarot here. We're going to keep pulling. Like I said, work has been difficult to progress with. It feels like 1 step forward, 10 steps back. The money isn't there. The stability isn't really there. We're just not feeling it. It feels like wherever we're trying to get to is a long ways off. We're suddenly disillusioned with the paths that we've laid out in front of us, the things that we have wanted to do. We're suddenly not interested in that anymore. Yeah. And it feels like if you've been juggling a life or a job, especially, I'm just going to actually put these two in between because it just feels like they belong here. So, if you feel that a job, a person, a life path, a goal has not been driving with you the same way, there's something that just doesn't feel right about it, it's not quite satisfying, and yet we've been juggling it anyways, you will let that go. There is an idea that needs to be dropped, something you've been juggling that is just not going to work. Why continue to try to make things that aren't exactly what you want them to be work if that's not even what you want to be doing? You're juggling too much and it's become unsatisfactory. It's not giving you what you want, and you're sitting there wondering, how much effort do I have to put into this? How much more effort do I have to put in to get what I want? What else do I have to do? But it's time to stop beating a dead horse. It's time to realize that sometimes certain paths continuously don't crop up. Certain things don't continuously happen for a reason. And it's to force us to let go of something that has become much more of a burden and has really stopped you from making headway in the ways that you want to. And that Ten of Swords puts an end to it. And I'm going to say it might not feel great. Ooh, but you know what comes out with that Ten of Swords? I'm actually going to put that up there, if we can even fit it. Move this guy over here, because I really like being able to look at all these together here. That Ten of Swords and that, that eclipse, not eclipse, oh my God, that new moon card, not eclipse. Or, I mean, I got myself all turned around with those words there. But we do have that Virgo new moon. I keep almost saying eclipse now that I said it. We keep having this. I mean, maybe for you guys, this has a lot to do with the last eclipse. Maybe an idea cropped up then, something that's coming back on this new moon. I mean, pay attention for that, considering I can't stop saying it. But I mean, those eclipses last about 6 months. So think about the changes you wanted to make and where you're at with those. If you set intentions on that last eclipse, or even, you know, I think they were in like the early summer or like late spring. There was even some at the very beginning of the year. Think back on what you were focusing on, what your goals were, what you wanted to do then, and how that's changed, how that's restructured. Sometimes I find that the goals and the things that we've set during eclipses, when you think about them about 6 months, 4 to 6 months later, you're like, wow, maybe sometime, I mean, this is sometimes, and I'm feeling like a lot of this in 2020, especially with all the astrological little plays going on here. It just feels like the goals that we set are now different. They're not what we want anymore. Everything has changed. It's not going to work out that way. It's time to throw the baby out with the bathwater and be open for something new. And what's crazy is what comes out after that. 8 of Wands. Wow. It just feels like such a freeing up here. So, it might feel really, it might have you feeling again really guilty, really ashamed to have to let something go. It might make you think, what will people think of me? I'm no longer this stable person that sticks with their plans and has had this plan. And again, this feels like a plan that just doesn't go. Something you've had for years, something that you really thought you were going to have, something that you've wanted. And I feel like, I mean, I just did Virgo's video and it kind of reminds me of that same feeling of really, really wanting something. You know, you imagine getting it in this specific way. And what you have to realize is it's not going to come in that way, and it's not what you think it is. We might have been romanticizing and fantasizing about a work situation, a job situation, a living situation really working out here. And I feel, again, it has more to do with money and career and like a path forward here with all these pentacles showing up. But it's not the way it's going to be. And you're going to have to let something go, say goodbye, mourn the loss of an opportunity that isn't going to come, that you have been juggling and making room for in your life, that's not there. You're throwing your money, you're throwing your time, you're throwing your energy at something that continues to not grow and asks you to let it go. And by letting that go, and again, this is where we're getting stuck here, is the letting go part. And it's because we have this, I don't know, it's like you're holding so tightly onto something. And it's like I mean, all fixed signs get into this mode, but it's the very Taurian aspect of you, of your opposite sign here, that's coming into play, that's making you hold on to something that you so desperately need to just loosen your grip on. Because it's not going to work out that way, and it would feel a lot better and be a lot less painful if you could just loosen the grip and let this go. Let it, send it on its way here, you know, say goodbye to something. Because you guys are really beating yourself up over it and really like, why can't I just hold on to this? Why do I have to let it go? Why do I have to let it go? Because look at what comes in after it. This super freed up energy. And just like Virgo, I know it's really weird, and I decided to do you just randomly after, but it's that same kind of vibe of when you let this thing go that you've wanted to work out for so long, that you put all this time and effort and energy into, Again, it might not even be a work thing. It could be a belief system, a very intense belief system about how you believe the world should work, how you believe the government should work, whatever it might be. It's very ingrained in you, and it's really hard for you to let go, and you keep juggling it for some reason, even though, I mean, obviously it has given you nothing but pain, closed you out. And if it is a belief system, if it is a way of doing things, a way of being, and a refusal to grow beyond something, even though that all the knowledge is there to help you along, it's like, now's the time to really just say, okay, you know, maybe I was wrong here, and let it go. You have a new beginning that opens you up to so much growth here. And it's all you have to do is transform yourself at this point. And being a Scorpio, that really shouldn't be hard. Ooh, that gave me chills. That gave me straight chills just now. Look at this. You look at all this amazing stuff coming in. And again, don't forget, we also have Venus. I feel like I mentioned this maybe in the first part of the video. I did it a little while ago. But we have Venus moving from Cancer into Leo at the beginning of the relationship. I mean, at the beginning of the month. But did not mean to say that. But there's going to be challenges and revelations and over-the-top emotions and maybe even dramaticism within relationships. So again, watch out for that. And I think that that's why I'm going to ask you guys, as you're working through all this 12th house Mercury business, in the way that you're speaking, I would recommend not speaking these bigger things, these, you know, big Venus and Leo moments, you know, when we want to say this and do that, do something extreme in a relationship. Maybe wait till the end of the month when Mercury is in your favor and you're going to be coming across just a wee bit better. Okay? Yeah, by the end of this month, you've got something real to show. I mean, look at this. Look at this change. Wow, you have the 10 of Swords up there, and that's some shit, let's be honest. That's one of the worst, I mean, and it's upright. So yeah, we have some moments that really hurt us, that remind us, you know, yes, we can feel pain, but if you... No, I mean, you're a Scorpio, so of course this is going to come up whenever you have to release anything or change, because you guys feel deeply, and it's at the core of who you are. And that's why I think that these changes, this turnaround, this redirecting that you're doing this month, this analyzing and redirecting and changing and redirecting your beliefs, really, even your beliefs of who you are and what you want your life to be. You might, like, for example, you might never have imagined yourself leaving the country. All of a sudden you might be like, I want to live somewhere else, and this is what I want to do, and I see my life being this way, and I never saw that I could have this until now, because I've been walking this path to, you know, be this stockbroker in New York City or something like that, or I wanted to be, you know, a doctor, but like really I'm a creative person, and I kept forcing myself into this box when reality says this is not what you want to do. It's things like that. It's real changes. You know, I believed, even on like the crazy level, I'm just gonna, like, please nobody get mad at me, but like it could even be like, you know, I am a Republican and I'm changing to a Democrat, etc., something like that, or I'm of this belief of this system, and now because of everything I've learned, I'm now changing, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with admitting that it's okay to change and grow. I'm all right with that because I'm a Scorpio. And it's like that push through, that really awkward, it's like squeezing it's like shoving something very big through a very tiny hole, but once it comes out, it's smooth, it's okay, it's gonna be fine. It's a lot clearer, a lot better, and it offers you what you want, especially in terms of your relationships. If your relationships have suffered because of a path you chose to walk down, a belief you chose to hold, or a job or a career path that you really thought was for you, but really in the end has just been totally destroying, diminishing you and your energy and who you are, you're now going to see opportunities everywhere. But it's the energy and the emotional energy that it takes for you internally it's almost like having these internal conversations with Mercury and Libra all month. It's going to be a very in-depth time of working through this on the inside, and nobody may even know that you're working through this until the end of the month, when you finally have the words again. Ooh, gave me chills again. When you finally have the words to say that this is the solid ground I'm now standing on, and I'm proud of it, and I can see myself being a true leader here. And if it's a Leo that you're dealing with, or if it's a Leo that you're in a relationship with, there's a lot of support to be had. It's really weird that this card comes out. Really weird that the Magician comes out at the end like this. Really weird, because actually before I even started your reading, I was using a totally different deck. And I wasn't using it. I knocked over actually this deck I wasn't using. I was just setting it up and I knocked this over. And the card that came out, oh, of course it's not going to come out now that I just picked it up. Oh, it's still on the ground. That's embarrassing. It's the Magician. So the Magician is there again. What will you do with the power that you have? And will you keep deluding yourself into saying, you know, to believing really that this is not, you know, I don't have the power, I don't have control, I don't have power, I don't have money, I don't have this. It's that attitude that shifts this month, and you have to really stop belittling yourself and telling yourself these things and putting yourself in this position. It's the breaking free of that really is on you this month. Opportunities will come in. Love is here. Don't worry. I mean, right from the bottom of the deck there, I'll always pull that last one. But these are your last two cards coming out this month to say, you've got it. Treat yourself kindly, treat others kindly and with love. Treat yourself with compassion, forgive yourself. If you feel horrible, or if you feel like you can't let something go because you've walked a path too long, it's time to show yourself that you still have power and that you can still change, because you can. There is nothing that tells you can't do this, you can't do that. There's no law that says, you know, oh, you know, you can't change your path here, you can't change your career, you can't change your identity, you can't change your beliefs, because you can. And by doing so, you get back a lot more in your life here. You get back the love, the 10 of Cups, friendships, relationships. I mean, it will be entering Libra season where those will come into play as well. But as you enter your 12th house season, you're going to be in this real flowing state of love here and abundance and good things coming in, because you've let some really major things go and you're not going to let them dominate and dictate who you are anymore. This part of you used to dictate the rest of your life. You had to live, it feels just so rigid and structural, and it's like, why did I do that? Oh my gosh, like, why didn't I change until now? You're going to ask yourself that plenty of times. More Mars and Aries BS and all the other stuff going on, but be open to these changes. Be open to shifting who you are. Be open to saying, you know, who you are at the end of the month. I would say before then you might feel a little bit confused in your speech, and you might come across as, you know, unable to really go one way or the other, or be one specific thing to other people. But by the end of the month, it feels like you're very empowered, and you know who you are, and you know where you're taking your energy, and you know what you can do, and that you're gonna do it, and you will. Because I mean, look at this. You have the backing, you have the support, you have the love, you have the creativity, you have the power, you have the energy somehow. I mean, for you guys, I would say Mars retrograding isn't going to be as bad, because it's one of your ancient rulers, and you know, you guys are Scorpios. You're gonna be maybe the sign that'll do better with this retrograde than everybody else. I'm not. My Mars is in Aries. I'm gonna hate this. I just know it. But overall, guys, push through this month. Journal, meditate, work through this. Don't let the need to hold on to something because it's become comfortable, because it's become what you know, because it's what other people expect of you, and maybe what you've told them. Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're allowed to change, you're allowed to shift, and you don't have to just stick in this rigid structural box. Break free from those Taurian attitudes, or else Uranus and Taurus is going to knock around later on in the month and do it for you. And that's going to feel a lot worse and a lot less freeing than this. Ooh, okay, Scorpios, wow, really, really intense messages. I feel like that one was longer than some of the others there, but let's see. Let's get you a Lynn V. Andrews Oracle deck card. Oh my gosh, these cards are going wild. Okay, let's get this one. It's interesting because you actually, no, you know what? It wasn't that one. It was this one. It was Silence. Quickening is another really good card. But I really feel like it was this one that was, it just got a little bit stuck there on the other one. I was trying to pull it out. Silence. And it's one of the most beautiful cards in this deck, I think. Before making a decision of power, move into that place of silence and serenity deep within you. Sit anywhere, close your eyes, and follow your breath in and out. On the third inhalation, take the breath down into your belly and locate your place of power just below your navel. Visualize your place of power holding the golden sun, a disk of radiant brilliance within you. Observe the silence like a deer in a meadow. If you are in pain, use your consciousness to find where that pain lives within your body. Then move into that pain and beyond it until you find the sources of silence. In this silence lives your sacred witness, that which sees all and knows all and is all that you are. Power is born within silence. 22 is the number for that as well. So keep an eye out for 22 this month as well for a special number. Wow. Amazing messages, guys. I am so happy to connect with you again. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to share the video if you enjoyed it. Go follow me on Instagram at Deku Tarot. And if you want to book a private reading, all that information is always in my description box below this video. I am still offering private readings at this time. Although I do think the prices and offerings will change by October. So just keep an eye out for that as well. And thank you so much, guys, for all of your support. I appreciate and love all of you. I miss you all so much, so it's really good to be back. Leave me a comment, and have a wonderful and blessed September.